Espresso Fitness, which is an exercise bike connected to the internet, 3D graphics, and we did a lot of work with leaderboards, and so forth. The thing about it was we were trying to figure out how to avoid the killer effect and all this male-dominated leaderboard thing. The two things we found that worked were competing against yourself, where you're really competing against your previous exercise thing and trying to get better than what you did before. Women really soaked that up. And actually, it's broader than just women. It was anybody who wasn't in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
Loved the fact that they were competing in a space, you know, in a safe place against kind of against themselves. The other one was competing against people you know, but again, relatively achievable things. So rather than having the person who instructs the class competing against you, you would be competing against people that were already at your level. So we did a lot of self-sorting and then competition within those areas.
Yeah,
And
agree.
that worked pretty well.
I agree. I actually think like group collaboration can work just as well as PvP. And so this is some female PvP. This is like sorority life, a kind of reskin of Mafia Wars kind of thing. And a very small subset of people liked it. And you did get your aggressive kind of, you know, users kind of who did that, even to the point where they established burn lists and had that whole kind of burn list mechanic. So that was pretty nasty. But the game was relatively successful, I think, not because of this, because of all the other elements and the fact that you're in a sorority together and you're working together and achieving goals. This is one of our games where we kind of experimented with a PvP event because we wanted to see this for ourselves and how does this work. So we had kind of like passion challenges, you know, 1 versus 1 and a whole kind of global leaderboard. And we had to do it quick because we didn't have any engineer resources. I just had like 4 or 5 days to kind of, you know, one engineer to pull it together. So we kind of did this sort of thing. This was eco-chic kind of challenge. And we found that the, you know, the monetization interestingly went up like 60–70% during the PvP event period. Retention went down because it was a bit of a turn-off. It's like, I'm never going to get to the top of this, you know. So the 60% was like the whales. The whales would go off and, you know, compete and try to get to the very top. But mass market, it wasn't really adopted well. So if this is a mass market feature, retention should be equally up, you know, or maybe even higher than the monetization. And we I have a pretty good idea how to improve on that. You'd have like brackets, you know, and you'd maybe be competing against something else, not other people. So there's ways to fix it, but it was a good example of, you know, using our current systems to kind of demonstrate this in reality. Now, 66% is better than nothing, and so we're going to have this until we develop something better, but I think we can do better than that.
Was that loss of retention kind of permanent? Did you like lose players from the game, or was it just kind of temporary?
No, it actually went up. Retention went up about 22%, but monetization went up much more than retention. So I would have hoped that they would be kind of even. I better power along because social is stronger. Social cooperation, back and forth support networks are stronger. You know, Heyday and like, you know, visiting each other's roadside shops and buying and selling tends to be stronger. And you can combine that with events really well, time limited stuff. Number 7 is the learning curve. Women hate, and this is a broad statement, but generally speaking, women hate, you know, heavy learning curves. They want it to be easier at the start. Guys on average tend to be more like learning by trying and failing, and it tends to work better if it's like learning by example or kind of like having a mentor or a guide to help you out. And the metagame, don't forget the metagame. Why are people playing the game in the first place? Often, you know, they're playing it to recover from daily stress, right? It's the stress of like, you know, having a family taken care of. It's the stress of bad emotional relationships or things that issues that are happening in their work or, you know, with family. So often we're playing these games to kind of, and this doesn't apply just for women, but we're playing these games to go and bring ourselves to a better place, right? To kind of like recharge our kind of like, you know, emotional batteries, if you like. So if you go and add a very high learning curve, it just adds stress. It kind of like you're losing the metagame in this process. And there's also a sense of virtual order. Even if real life is kind of like a bit frayed on the edges, you have like virtual order. And things are nice in this game world, and I feel good about that. And you know, if that's combined with feeling connected to others, that's even stronger. So this is kind of the base. So, and this kind of hit me, after I launched. It's like, why are they playing the game? They're playing to de-stress and enjoy in the first place. If you don't get that right, nothing else matters. So to finish up, conclusions of this. So is there a mid-core market for women? Yes. I'd argue strongly. Sorry, it takes an hour to get to that conclusion. Yes. It's a real market. I think it's growing. But you can't just copy what worked for guys and just, pink skin it and then assume that will work great. Because I don't think it will. And I think the key is accessibility, making it easier to start, having smart depth that kind of reveals itself over time, integrating emotional aspects, story relationships, and then the social part as well. And the last thing I would say is, like, if in doubt, just listen to the players. And I've learned a lot just by, we have focus groups 3 nights a week. We get 20 people into the office every week. Strangers, we don't know them, and we just listen to them. And you'll kind of like get to the conclusion and learn a lot just through listening to the players. Yes. Okay, so sorry I had to rush, but thank you very much. Do you guys have any questions?
Maybe.
Any questions?
Yes, that would be good. Maybe I'll put my contact details at the end.
You can respond to them on your cam right over here.
Yes, I still have like $5 of credit on T-Mobile. So my email is simon@frenzoo.com. My Twitter is there. I also write a game design blog called iteratingfun.com, so you can check that out, and I'd love some feedback. And if you guys have any questions or things to share with me, I'm learning as well, so just shoot them over, and I'm really happy to kind of to chat more.
Any questions for him?
One last question before I have to run. Nothing? Awesome.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
Yeah. So where you guys stand? We're right now in that hotel. They started looking at me, yeah, and you so it's his business partner's birthday today. Wow. Thank you guys. You guys it's business partner.
everything totally, same thing. Yeah, no, I went to the parties just to drink club soda of all things, and like that's how I ran into a job I wasn't looking for.